Minerva, it has been a long time. We've tried 4 times, and now we're here. So I'm here with Minerva Lopez?
Correct.
Minerva, goddess of truth, I think?
Wisdom.
Goddess of wisdom.
In Greek mythology.
Do you feel like you're a goddess of wisdom at all?
Sometimes.
Good. Well, let's see if you are now. I mean, you wouldn't be doing this interview if you were the goddess of wisdom. Thank you very much. Okay, so you were born here?
Born and raised here in Martin, Texas.
Uh-huh. And when you were growing up, did the train stop here?
Yes.
Really? You're the first person I've heard say that. So when did it stop? You must have been a little girl when it stopped.
No. I left, and that's when it stopped then. But I remember it stopping here a lot because my uncle from California would come in.
Mm-hmm.
Or my cousins would travel to California.
Okay.
My mother would travel to El Paso.
Well, this is especially significant to you and me because we're both working in our own little ways to get the train to stop here again. Correct. And let's just fill in some gaps. That we're at the USO building. You, I don't know your title, but I know you work with Marfa Tourism.
Correct.
What is your title?
I'm the business manager.
Business manager for Marfa Tourism. And Marfa Tourism has only existed a little while, but they're trying to do something which, in my mind, is huge.
It is.
To get the train to stop here, one, and to have a station for the train to stop at.
Correct.
And many people, I think, are a little nervous about that, but most people in the town think that would be a lifesaver.
They would.
Well, we'll talk about other stuff in a sec, but let's deal with the train. What are you guys trying to do, or how are you trying to do it?
Well, Tex has written a grant, hopefully that we would get it, gone all the way to Washington, D.C. with a $2.2 million grant. A quarter would be fine.
Right.
With that, also would develop a new depot with all the, ADA upon, everything. And then also right there with the Sunset Park, rebuilt the pond that we used to have. Do you
remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember the pond used to be right there where the post office is present.
Okay.
I remember it because of looking at the fish and the water lilies and the fountain.
So tell me this, why on earth would the two things that I feel this town is missing, which are water, and I don't even mean just to see the water would cool me down,
Exactly.
To be in the water would probably just completely give me a head rush. But why did they get rid of water and the train stop? The two things that totally vitalize
developments on one part, which was bringing a new post office in Standard. I remember as a little girl, and I still have pictures of Santa Claus coming to right there in front of the fountain, and it would have a big sign that said Merry Christmas, and Santa Claus would be handing out candy canes.
But where the water is, where the water was.
Where the fountain was.
What year, more or less?
Well, gosh, it must have been in the 60s.
Huh. Was this town as dry as it was? Well, okay, we've had a drought for 2 years. But was this town when you were growing up, do you remember it as being as dry?
Yes.
So it's crazy they got rid of it, huh?
Yeah. And then the thing about it is we also looking at the migration of the butterflies. They because when they migrate into Mexico, they stop somewhere.
Okay. I don't know anything about that. So do they still do that? Or?
No. Where did they do that?
Okay, when did they do that?
Well, they would always stop there. I remember them migrating, into where that was, and even just to sit around and listen and being around the pond. We have pictures of the military, the cavalry being around there, pictures of couples being there. I don't remember the gazebo. They said there was a gazebo behind it. Probably my time they must have already done away with it, but just being around that fountain was just
I can imagine.
Wow.
I've seen the pictures. Well, you've been here since you were born, more or less. I know you took off to Houston for a while.
Yeah.
But but I get the impression for you, there was a time when you were a little girl where the town actually got smaller. Is that right?
Yes. Smaller. I never really saw it that it got small. The theater closed down. The drive-in
Which
closed.
one? Oh, where was the drive-in?
The drive-in was past the cemetery, going west on the left-hand side. As soon as the the cemetery ends, there used to be.
I would have loved that. Could you drink a beer at the drive-in?
Yeah.
Was this town, when you were growing up, very conservative, like a lot of Texas towns are? Or could
You could pull into it. Like I said, we talked about this about driving. Mondo's used to be where you could drive in, honk your horn, order your stuff, bought it out with a beer, 6-2 in. That's the same thing, where the auto parts next to Food Shark.
Okay, let's see. You moved out, I think, when you were 20-ish to Houston for a while. Mm-hmm. And was that like, the big city and I'm getting to do all these things?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And yet
you get that out of your system.
Yes, you do.
You get that out of your system. And then you come back and it's like, okay, it's time.
Well, I'll tell you why, in my opinion. This town, it has some big city features. So it's not like coming into nothing.
Right.
It's got a lot of vitality. People are doing stuff. And what did you do a Friday night if you were a teenager?
A Friday night teenager, we would go to the movies.
The drive-in.
Or we would go to somebody's house and just drink.
And dance?
And dance.
What kind of music were you listening to?
Actually, we would listen to rock. Actually, we would listen to KOMA, Oklahoma City radio station coming in.
Come on, you could get that?
At night, yes.
Wow.
At night, you could sit out there, where across the street from Pueblos, it used to be a snow cream. It used to be like you sit around.
Where the DQ is now, the Dairy Queen?
No, right across from it. Huh. The canopy's still out for the 2-story house or whatever. Yeah, it used to be a snow cream place where you could get your ice creams and you can sit out there and listen to KOMA.
So what happened between that time? I've heard that when Donald Judd came here, the town was just nothing or dead.
Yes.
So while you were growing up, there was a point where the town just seemed to like shrink a little bit?
Actually, it started shrinking when, everything started pulling out. Downtown used to be, you used to have a 5 and dime store, where Brights is.
Yeah.
There used to be a Baker Jewelers. They used, the Vizcaíno, Christopher's, Bennett's, Bennett's Cleaners, Beanland, and then all these started dwindling out and everything else. I even remember where the Paisano Hotel had the neon lights right there that said Hotel Paisano.
I'm sorry I missed that. But again, this is one of the things that kind of puzzles me about Marfa. Is it still, we don't have the 5 and dime, the pharmacy, the movie theater and stuff, but people read about this town in the New York Times.
And they want to come.
And they want to come, right.
And
they want to come because they think it's going to be exciting.
And it is.
It is exciting, which goes to show that maybe a lot of what you see in a big city is just totally unnecessary.
Well, the thing about it is you can be at home, if you're a native like me, you can be at home and go, oh, God, no, I'm not going to go to that, what El Cosmico has done.
Right.
Or go to Padres. Well, I don't want to go there because it used to be a funeral home.
Right, I know. Do you
what
know?
is wrong with you? They've got good music that comes in, people that you would never even think they would show up to Marfa. You got to support them.
Minerva here is a very attractive lady, and the first thing I heard about you way back when, I guess it was a year and a half ago, because I was friends with Allison Scott. And Mark loved you. John C. totally loved you. Ketsia loved you and your husband, Delphine. These are all kind of younger people. They're younger than me or you, by generation. And they all completely dig you. And what's going on here? How do you know these people? Why do they love you so much?
Well, Allison and I grew up together. We were in this, she was a year younger than me.
I thought Allison grew up in New Orleans.
Allison Scott? No,
Yeah.
she was born and raised here.
What about, was it Rudy then?
Rudy.
Okay.
Could be in Rudy, but Allison, yeah, she was a cheerleader in Marfa High School.
Okay. And so you
Kathleen, her sister, was
But that doesn't explain everything, because John C. didn't go to school here.
Yeah.
Ketsia didn't go to school here.
Well, they lived right across the street from us.
From Philadelphia?
They still do. And, you see them and they're, they're working 3 jobs and everything else. And we always had when we cook, we overly cook.
Oh,
and it's only
note to self.
and we we would look at them. Hi, how are you? I would introduce, and I even present them with I don't remember. I think with John's, could have been baked a cake or something like that. Welcome them, and then we started getting to know them. And then when we travel, we do not leave our house alone. We always have a house sitter, especially with our animals.
Mm-hmm. Which are what? What do you have?
We have 5 little dogs. We have 3 Chihuahuas.
Wow. Okay.
We have a Dachshund and a little mutt.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them are rescue dogs. Mm-hmm. And a pond full of fish.
Mm-hmm. And
during the summertime, I have my swimming pool, and Ketsia always volunteers to clean it up, because
she's sweet.
Yeah, she vacuums it and everything else, and I have a parrot and a house full of plants. So when we leave, we like for somebody to stay there. Okay. And she would always volunteer. Chauncey would always volunteer. We all want some food. We're all of us are off. Y'all want to come in. You want to come and watch the movie, or you want to come and watch the game, because we're all Texas Longhorns. Right.
And also there's a school. That's how I'm sure a lot of, like Mark, and I don't think, did Kaki go to school? But she was from the neighborhood, Fort Davis.
Yeah.
To me, she's from the neighborhood.
That was always rival.
Yeah.
Because my daughter and her played against each other in volleyball, and there was like that rival. So see.
So you worked at the school for how many years?
11, going to my 12th year, Marfa ISD.
Marfa ISD. But you are no longer working at the school, because I see you right in front of my eyes. And so what happened?
I resigned. Mm-hmm. Administration's going bad. Okay. And that I don't want to comment on that, because it's...
You don't need to.
Okay.
Well, actually, but I have a question. You don't need to comment on this either, but you got a town of 2,000 people and there's a Montessori school?
Yes.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's good, because right now the school is not what it needs to be. Yeah. Bless the kids. I love the kids, but I get to see the kids at Pueblos.
Yeah, and they love you.
And they always come and say, Miss Lopez, but that was a transaction period to where I worked at Pueblos.
Mm-hmm. Wind, we hope.
When?
Es una espantosa.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And then he offered me this job. He needed an assistant, so I said,
Tex offered you the
job. Yeah, Tex offered me. And then, so I kind of told him I'll work part-time at Pueblos, because we developed the HBA.
Whoa, what
area.
Is that?
It's the health, beauty, AIDS.
Oh,
the
thing in the back, right. Yeah, so
yeah.
Because Pueblos has been changing drastically.
Drastically. Yeah. And I am going to be a pharmacist trainee where I can disperse meds, because they will come to...
Keep me in mind.
Yeah. No, I'm getting fingerprinted. I'm going...
Well,
all the narcotics
so
now.
Tex offered you a job, and maybe coincidentally, but maybe not, your roots go, I don't know, what, 4 generations? Your first Lopez's, or, your great, moved to Casa Piedra.
The Vasquez, we're not Lopez.
The Vasquez. Oh, it's because Delphine's last name is Lopez.
I am a Minjares. My mom was a Vasquez. Casa Piedra, they have my...
Is that how you say it?
Casa Piedra.
It's not Casa Piedra? Okay.
It's at Casa Piedra.
Okay. What do I know?
Anyway, that's where our great-grandparents started. If you read the book, that my great-grandpa was in love with a Russell. A Russell, of course, was white. And they fell in love. they didn't. Parents did not approve of her getting married because he was a ranch hand, and her parents had looked for her to be a little more wealthy because the Russells did have a wealthy. They had ranch and everything else, so they didn't end up getting married. Parents finally gave up. They got married at midnight.
Wow, do you remember?
In a black dress. I have the picture of my great grandpa.
Why in a black dress?
Because that was because she was marrying outside of her race.
Oh, it was like she was in mourning, or
her parents were saying, "You will get married," but you. And I actually have the picture, and I had told Armando Vasquez. I said I had the picture, and he says, "Oh, I should have used it in my book," because he talks on that story about that. They lived. They worked hard and everything else. They lived in the ranch outside of called Punto de Agua. That's where my mom was born. That's my grandparents, and then and they ended up migrating. There's another ranch where Mrs. McGuire has it. My mom used to live in that ranch, and then from there they came into Marfa.
And Marfa, I guess, was the big city to them.
The big city to them, because they used to ride their horse or their burro to the elementary or the school.
Okay, but so you're fourth generation.
Yeah.
And yet, if I say, "Are you Mexican?" you say, "Sí."
Yes, I am.
How do you pull that off? Is there no word for? I mean, no one really.
A mutt?
No. Most people just say Mexican or white,
Hispanic,
or Anglo or Hispanic or white or Mexican. Yeah.
Well, and the thing about it is, we've gone to Russell's reunions. Okay, so we're.
Are they still mad?
No. We've had a Russell reunion, and it's so interesting because the whites are here, our parents are here, and we go, "Oh well," and that's almost like the same way they probably think, but we just get along so well. It's interesting that when I go, "You're related to the Russells," and I go, "Yeah."
Right. Huh.
But Vasquez is, a very strong word.
Do you have any memories of or experiences with Donald Judd, or how he changed the place?
We would see him around, and the kids would see him around, totally normal, no big deal, I know that a lot of the people around us would say, "Oh, well, he's going to come in and change the whole town," and I don't think so, because that fort would have gone. I can't have that presentation to the people that come in here, and it would show the fort that used to be here that would be in ruins. And he kept it alive for us, because I can tell him what the arena used to be, and when the army left, what the Cowboys used to do it, and now I can honestly show them with great pride of what it looks like.
So wait, I'm not sure I understood. What did the arena used to look like?
The arena used to be where the soldiers used to be playing basketball and all that stuff.
But it's still there.
Yeah, and that's what I have the pride, because it's still up.
Oh, I see.
I have the pride on that, because then when they left, the Cowboys took over, and they used to do ropings, I think, there and everything. I remember that, and then now I present. Look what it looks like.
Are you a fan of his art, or of art in general? Huh.
In fact, my daughter, my youngest daughter, Margaret, that Khaki and Mark and all those know, she came when in her high school year. She was in the National Honor Society, and with them, when they would have the Shonati open house, they would take the National Honor Society kids and kind of like tell them what they were going to present, or they would introduce when people would walk in there. And she got to be the one where all the neon lights are.
Oh,
and
cool.
she, You know, she actually did the tour for us there, and then we would tour, and you know, I think it's great.
Yeah.
The big parties that they used to have in downtown, but you know, there's some natives. Right? There's some natives that even for marathon, they go, well, this is a bummer. This Shinadi's not. And actually, I did a telling. There was more people here. So you know the house that's over there by Godville.
Yeah.
You know, we used to go. That street used to. You know the creek. We used to go through there, and
There wasn't water in that creek, though, was there?
whenever it rained a lot, it used to run. You know, but we used to go there with our cars and everything, and then AEP shut it down. And I guess Donald Judd was happy about that because we would go in there and just, you know, run through there in our cars and everything, or party underneath the railroad tracks.
Do you remember when he died?
No, I was not here.
You're in Houston. Do you have any memories or stories of memories or memories of stories about the military?
No, not really, because I was...
Right.
Because when the military left, they left the hangars out there where the Marfa Light Viewing is. We used to go in there.
Oh, you know, I should ask you about the Marfa Lights, because I know we're going to disagree on this. What do you think of the Marfa Lights? Do you think, I won't put words in your mouth, what do you think?
They're mystery lights. Period. I can't even explain, because we used to go in there in our younger... where we used to go into where the hangars were, because there was an airstrip. And we used to see them. They used to kind of like chase us, even after so many beers, too.
Huh. I've never
Experienced it?
I've never been to the viewing station sober. I mean, if you showed me, you know, like their driver's license in that situation, I would think that was mysterious, too. So.
No, because they used to... scientists have come up from all over the world to come study. Unsolved mysteries have come in.
It's your interview. We're see your interview. Okay. You know, she works for the tourism department.
No, but
That's why I was surprised that when you go to they should hype up the mystery instead of self-debunk, right?
No. Delphine, that has
Her
lived,
husband.
has lived. He never believed in them. Never believed in them. About 6 years ago, I took one of my uncles and his kids from California. Could have been like in November, the end of November. It was really cold, and us ladies decided, because there were some little kiddies there with us, you know, kids. So we put them in the car. Delphine stood out there with my uncle and his kid and his son. And there was a couple of tourism people there, and he said that this big, humongous light came, and he says you could actually have touched it, but we all were just in a state of shock.
I can imagine.
And he says, and they were just staring at him before anybody said any word. It went up into the sky.
There's been a lot of change. Has it changed that much, or is it still the
I
same
love
DNA of the town? Or what?
I love it because it's full of life. You know, we might go one weekend and you know that nothing's happening, and you're going, what is wrong with this picture?
Yeah.
You know, or you decide you're going to hibernate for that weekend, and then, you know, like last Friday, was it Friday that we went and visited that group? Something bastard?
Where?
At Padres.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
That girl that was an awesome singer.
Yeah.
Wow, you know.
She seemed a little angry.
Huh?
She seemed a little angry.
She sounded like Rita Coolidge when Rita Coolidge started.
Huh.
I was amazed by that. And people
that
say, well,
wouldn't
why do you like that kind of music? Because it's music.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing like that was coming through town.
Nothing.
No. So.
What we used to come through town was like Little Joe and the Latineers. Yeah. And that dressing room over there that they repainted, every kind of Tejano group would come in and they would autograph the wall. Dino's, which was Selena's group whenever she was young, came through, autographed it. Sonny and the Sunlighters, Willie Nelson, Jerry Jeff Walker, all came, and they finished, They would autograph the wall, and when they redid this, they painted over that because I was going, I want to see the wall, and they repainted it.
I got one last question for you, and if you have some, David, are we listening to squirrels? We're in the USO building, and
we're listening to the branches that are hitting the aluminum roof.
What was the biggest rain you remember? Does one stick out, like, the rain of 75 or the windstorm of 82 or something like that?
I can't even begin to tell you the year that we had. It was in June the 9th because it was my mom's birthday. And all of a sudden, the sky just started turning blue. And then it went from black to blue and then green.
You mean dark blue, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it went to green, and we had one hell of a hailstorm. Broke all the windows in the courthouse. It was coming up north, and it just broke every windows. And I remember Mom telling us to pray the rosary because it would not stop for an hour. And it was huge. And then when we came back, my daughters and I, there was another one when we came back in the 80s, 90s maybe. It was Holy Thursday, and we were at the Catholic Church, and it was the washing of the feet and everything else, and we were there, and all of a sudden, there was a rumble, boom, and we felt it on the floor, and all I could see was the lights in the church. And I remember looking at my mom and looking at my daughter on the other side. I said, if this happens again, we're going to get up and get out of here. And don't ask me why. And we said, and then it was an earthquake.
What year?
It had to be in the 90s.
Huh.
That's what changed at the Cathedral Mountain, cracked it.
Yeah. Huh. And what did it do to the buildings here?
Do you ever remember that big crack that the St. Mary's Church had? That cracked that. There was some, but yeah, it was just like so weird that the floor moved. And I looked at him and I said, if it happens again, we're going to get up and leave and don't ask me why.
Well,
that was another thing.
That's pretty cool. He went after the church first. I don't think there's
it was all over.
Okay.
It was because I was there.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's end on that. Thank you very much.
All right.
We'll keep talking if you guys want, but I'm going to turn this off.
Yeah, the ranches is really...